Alrighty, so welcome back to the channel. My name is Mason Dupree. I think I'll skip my usual spiel for now. I'll do an abbreviated version of it. Basically, I'm documenting my journey as I build my own business, working full-time for another. You can watch other videos if you want a full explanation of why. But basically, today I wanted to talk about my new business idea. Now, I don't really want to go into the specifics because the internet makes people copy, and I do want to speak on that for a bit too, because I've done that, and there's nothing wrong with that thought process. You're almost replicating what's already successful just to try and be successful, or at least somewhat successful, which isn't a bad strategy. Imitation also leads to helping you learn things, but I just don't want you guys to have my specific idea. But what I do think I can do is share the tools I'm using to build that idea, because I think that will, I'm trying to get the microphone in the right spot, could help you guys come up with a similar, not solution, but use the same tools to then create your own solution to whatever problem you're working towards. So if you've been watching the videos for the past few weeks, then you'll know that I have been battling with this idea of whether to go into the service-based business where I was previously in the last year with my own business as a sort of an SMMA. I was trying to do lead gen for real estate agents. And I've come to some conclusions about why I think that doesn't work. And I'm also coming around to the idea that no niche is actually saturated. I know that's been repeated a couple times on the internet, and that doesn't really seem novel anymore. But yeah, I think that any niche has sort of a path to success in it. I think that's obvious. It's just more, are you willing to wait long enough or work long enough, or are there other things that you don't like about that business that could be better in others? Do they play to your strengths? And that's kind of where I was at, is sort of, does the service-based business play to my strengths, sales and all that? And it's not so much that sales was a problem, it's just more that I think my mind is better oriented towards systems and operations and trying to streamline things. And, I think that leveraging that, because it's a natural, passion and interest of mine, I think that I can provide not software solutions quite, not really an app per se on like your phone, but an app sort of based solution to some complex problems that people would run into in the marketing niche. And that's another thing I want to talk about, is like, if you're thinking about, what problem to solve, I would look more in your current your lane than to others. And what I mean by that is like I know what works well for real estate agents and why this system, how this system needs to adapt for real estate agent, because I've worked with agents and been an agent myself. So I can understand where these tools would come into play. Whereas if I was in automotive or something like that, I would have no clue how to best implement this. And I've talked about this with AI too. It's like only the people that are facing the problems at the top of the very line of competition, right, in that niche are going to know how to apply AI to actually effectively improve whatever their offer is or whatever their service is. Basically, use AI to actually strengthen their business, their offer, get more sales, whatever it is. The only people who are really going to know how to best do that are the people who are at the front line of issues, right? In their particular niche. Me looking across to the automotive, they're going to have the answer to what are my current problems a lot faster than I would about their sector. But in my own sector, I have a lot of answers to problems that they don't know what my problems really are, right? So sticking in your lane of whatever it is, and I know that you guys might be starting out, you're young, you may not really have a lane yet, but wherever you have some sort of proficiency, like I'm better at this than most people are. This is my thing. This is what I do. Look into that, find ways of solving those problems with novel ideas, and put that into, well, in my case, a productized service-based web app sort of thing. And I know that's really convoluted and confusing, but it's just kind of where I've landed. And I also sort of want to get more, I don't know if obscure is the right word to use. I want to get out of the main lane of, what's the first thing that you can think of when it's like, well, what are some service-based businesses that you can help, right? Because everyone thinks of the same ones, right? It's like real estate agents, local businesses, I don't know, anything that requires a lead, basically, that you can initially think of. The first 20 are the same 20 that everyone else can think of, right? And so, a tip for you guys, when I'm prompting AI to kind of help generate and spool ideas, I ask it to just give me 100. And that gets you through the first 10, 20 obvious ones and allows you to go through a list of 100. And honestly, most of the time, I'm not picking something off that list, but it spawns an idea that's almost a unique and organic one, right? From just getting more context that would help me find a more minute, better idea, right? And so, I want to get out of the main lane just so that I can drastically reduce the amount of competition, and at the same time, lean on my skills and what I know, and then solve a problem that I'm currently facing, right? That I have faced and that see that there is a demand for. And I think those look like good combinations for success. And who knows, I could spend a lot of time doing this and it not work out. But truth is, I've already basically solved half of that problem for ourselves internally at the company I work for. So I have that knowledge. It's just really figuring out the other half of the equation and then putting it into a product and selling it. And it's also funny because like I look at some of these other guys who are doing these sorts of things and I have some competitive advantages that they don't. And that's an interesting perspective to have, is like when you can look at someone else and say, okay, well, I can see where they're going wrong here, but they are a genius in this department. And you can be like, I need to learn this, but I know the answer to this, right? And that would make you, I think, if you enter that realm, more competitive. But yeah, so I just sort of want to make this video to announce that I know the direction. It is going to be a web-based app targeted at solving a specific marketing problem. But I don't really want to go into detail so much yet. But yeah, and I do want to share some of the tools that I'm talking about. I think it's very obvious that I've talked a lot about AI. And so AI is definitely a factor in it. Marketing and in some form communication is sort of, a factor in it. And, building whatever that system is to basically make it super user friendly, because I built the system. I already am using what I would be selling. It's very like non-approachable. And so for that reason, building the approachable aspect of it and then seamlessly integrating it then allows people to then adopt it, right? And then I can charge for it, So that's kind of the hope, that's the goal. I think, I'm still struggling with the idea of like, if it takes me, and honestly it probably won't, it'll probably take me longer, it'll probably take me 2 months to build it, but if it takes me 2 months to build it, that's only 2 months away from being replicated, you know what I'm saying? Or probably faster, since I've already kind of solved all of the problems that you have to kind of think of beforehand, right? So I struggle along the lines of like, so many things are so easy to build now, that it makes it very hard to maintain a competitive advantage. Like, how do you not only get to market first, but then also maintain that advantage in a world where things are rapidly evolving due to the power of AI and just the lack of needing to learn like basic middle to, early in coding. Like, that is no longer a skill that you need to go to school for. 100%, you are wasting your time if you're going to school for coding at a base and a medium level. If you are still currently in school, I want to give you some hope. Build passion projects and show that you have actually accomplished something using these tools, as opposed to just saying like, man, I just need experience. Like, build your own experience. And I've done that in my own personal life. That's how it's got my, my job at the marketing agency. It allows me to be, 10 times more proficient than I think anyone who doesn't have experience in the agency would have. So doing your own thing, build your own little passion projects and submit those on your resume. Don't sit there and say, hey, I have a college degree, you're supposed to take me now. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way anymore. But yeah, so that's just my little morning rant. I spent a lot of time last night and this morning going over a lot of the things, so I'm a little drained already mentally, but just kind of want to let you guys know that I think I have a direction and I'm going to move as fast as possible, reducing latency. I've got a video on that to try and put that into place and test and see how it goes. But I appreciate you guys watching the video. I will keep you guys updated. I will let you know sort of the tech stack or the tools that I'm working with very shortly. Right now, they're not totally defined. And also some of them I want to keep quiet just because they're part of the competitive advantage. But I appreciate you guys watching. Please stay tuned. If you have any comments about marketing in general, please, hit me up. I would love to, answer any questions you guys have. And I say this in most cases, but I've been doing marketing for like 8 years. I started with dropshipping in 2016, free plus shipping dropshipping, all the way to just normal, full price shop, dropshipping. And then I did lead-based gen and SMMA and all kinds of things. I've always been in the realm of marketing, but I've always been on the technical side. And that's something I've realized recently that I think is what I'm going to kind of attempt to leverage. But if you guys have any questions related to those things at all, please feel free to ask. There's literally no wrong question. I know there are a lot of guys that are very new and are starting out, and in which case I'd love to help you out and give you some perspective. And then if there's guys that are further along, I'd love to give you more technical answers. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. All right, bye.